Hello and welcome to On the Turf, hosted by three guys right now, who've never been on the turf. We're in season 4 now, and my name is Arjun.
I'm Shribam Khanda.
And I'm Rohan Patel.
And as you can see, our little experiment with Camille being on the show lasted less than half of a season, maybe about 8 episodes or so. He is now off the show permanently. No, but Camille is coming back. He wasn't able to make it for our season 4 opening episode, but we're really excited to be back on the show, talking about everything that's been happening in free agency as we're just a couple weeks away from the 2024 NFL Draft. But before we get into that, anything interesting happened to you guys over the past 2 months that you want to let the people know about? Shree, we can start with you. You're finishing up your first year of college.
Yeah, finishing up my first year of college. Honestly, this year went so fast. Genuinely, I felt like this year went faster than any of my high school years. I had spring break last week, so I think earlier than both of you. I watched Dune 2. I want to say that I think it's getting hyped up a little too much. I think there are problems with the film that people are just not talking about, and they exist. I don't know.
You're really brave
Dune
for
1
saying
was
that,
painfully
dude.
slow for me, and everyone said that Dune 2 was better. But honestly, other than the visual effects, I just didn't I didn't think there was too much there. Too many famous characters, too many famous people going on. It's just a little too much.
Rohan, I know you're a big Dune fan. Do you have anything to weigh in here?
Yeah, man. I mean, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Dune. Really a movie. It was a movie.
Cool.
Amazing.
I'm glad Camille isn't here to see that. Camille would probably yell at you for the next 45 minutes of this episode if he heard this talk, but we'll have to tell him about this later.
Well, Arjun, I mean, if we're talking about big news or new news, we're both freshly 21 now. How does that feel?
Yes, we are.
You're more freshly 21 than I am. How does that feel?
Great. Very happy to be 21. Very happy to be blessed with 21 years of age, man. What else? Make sure to check out our movie. We'll put the link in the description. Silver Bullet. Just came out with that last week. You guys been following on Instagram. Shree, did you check it out?
Arjun, you can't mix.
Yes,
your
I did.
media.
I'm not done with it
man.
yet, though. I will be done soon.
Great. It's only about 52 minutes, so it looks like Shree is watching in 2-minute increments. That's great. But let's get to the football. Let's talk about football. It's been a couple months since the Chiefs beat the Niners in the Super Bowl, and the pain still hasn't gone away. We're still all reeling from that, I think. But a new season is upon us, and what better team to talk about to start off this offseason than the team that has really taken over this offseason. And I couldn't be more surprised to say that team is Shree and my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Shree, anything notable happened to the Steelers this offseason?
Not really. I don't think so. At least, I mean, it seems pretty mediocre all around, pretty normal. But we did lose Kenny Pickett, though.
We did lose Kenny Pickett. A blessed day. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what the Eagles saw in him to trade for him, but we'll take it gladly. Thank you, Philadelphia, fellow Pennsylvania team. But we did add a pretty cool guy, though.
Couple of cool guys.
Couple of cool guys.
Yeah.
This is so
3
funny.
cool guys,
This is
I'd
so
say,
funny.
honestly.
Yeah.
That's right,
Unfortunately,
baby.
we lost Mason Rudolph to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
But Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
And Patrick Queen. Don't forget PQ, man.
PQ.
But yeah, Russell Wilson. Let's ride, baby. Russell Wilson is now a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now, I can't lie. When I first heard this news, I was a little disappointed. Rohan, we were in the car together, coming back from our spring break trip when we heard about this. I wasn't too happy, to be honest with you, and I'm warming up to it, because I realized the Steelers were not in a good position to get anyone in a top 10 starter in this league. But Russell Wilson, for how much we're paying for him, which is nothing at all, basically. And putting him in pole position to start, as Mike Tomlin has said, we had maybe the worst quarterback play in the league last year, save for the New England Patriots, and we were still able to win 10 games, and we're in striking distance. Well, that's putting it, a little bit generously, but we could have won a playoff game if we had competent QB play. And Russell Wilson was competent last year. Was he anything more than that? No, but he gives us a competent edge. And we haven't even talked about the Justin Fields of it all yet. But Rohan, initial reaction to what Russell Wilson brings to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I mean, I remember, like you were saying, you were disappointed right off the bat with this pick, but or with this pickup, but I feel like it's smart. I feel like you said, I feel like it gives you confidence at quarterback. Pair it with the Fields move, and you have a guy who is competent. He can probably lead your team to the playoffs, and you also have a playmaker in the waiting. You only have Fields for one more year. If you think he's worth it, if he plays a few games and you see he's good, you can try to work out that extension or re-sign him. If he's not, you cut both of them loose, and you have your pick of quarterback in the next draft, or you have your pick of quarterback in the next free agency cycle. I think this is a really smart move. You're getting both these players for relatively cheap, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like this brings a spark that the Pittsburgh QB room desperately needed after a few years of not incompetent Ben Roethlisberger play.
No, incompetent.
No, pretty
incompetent Ben
incompetent.
Roethlisberger play and incompetent Kenny Pickett play. So I feel like this is the right move. Does it put you over the top, make you a Super Bowl contender? Probably not, unless Justin Fields kicks into another gear. But I think this is a step in the right direction for a middling franchise.
I think contrary to Arjun, I was pretty excited the moment we heard the news. I think as a Steelers fan, I feel like we have seen a quarterback be surrounded by amazing talent, and we've gotten to the playoffs every single year with a D plus quarterback, and now we have a B minus or C plus quarterback. That is definitely an elevation that we've never had over the last 5 years, and I think we've seen a lot of teams over the years that have had maybe a B plus quarterback that's been surrounded by amazing talent all around, who happened to make it to the Super Bowl a couple of times recently. Not saying that Russell Wilson is Brock Purdy by any means.
Let's don't disrespect Brock Purdy like that. Come on.
Let's not disrespect Brock Purdy, but all I'm saying is we have a great roster. We have a pretty good quarterback. We could make a splash.
Well, I also think listen, I hate to be the one defending the Steelers right now, but I think you're selling Russ a little bit short as well. You're talking about Brock Purdy.
I think Arjun
Russell Wilson is actually a Super Bowl quarterback. He's a Super Bowl win quarterback at the end of the day. He knows what it takes. Granted, he's taken a few steps back, but I think you can attribute.
Do you guys remember that Super Bowl the same way I do?
What?
What? Do you guys remember the Super Bowl that Russell Wilson won? It's not like he had to really do much at all that game.
Sure, of course. But
and it was a decade ago.
Leading your team to 2 Super Bowl appearances is no. There's nothing to scoff at, And I think he clearly is a talented quarterback. He was okay in Denver, in a pretty bad situation in Denver, with a bad offensive line. The first year was, I think, pretty much a scratch with Hack at OC. Pair him here with a much better built offense in Pittsburgh with good running backs, a true wide receiver one in George Pickens, I think. Oh, I hate that I'm saying all of this. But, I really think that you guys are selling yourself short. I think that, again, it's not a Super Bowl team, but it can contend for the division. I think you'll be pretty pleased with the outcome of this year.
Yeah, last word on Russell Wilson, then we can talk about Fields briefly. But, I just think we have a couple of question marks going in. I think, first of all, I like the Arthur Smith hire. That's a hire for OC I like. I think it fits well a lot with what Pittsburgh wants to do, which is run the ball, take the pressure off the quarterback. And Arthur Smith has already revitalized Ryan Tannehill's career, and he was in a much worse shape than Russell Wilson was. Russell Wilson had a pedigree up until about 2 years ago about this time. So I like that hire. And the last other thing I'll say is, the defense has shown in playoff games, especially against high-class teams, that they can't compete. The defense needs to get better, I think. We talk about how good Pittsburgh's defense is. They're good, but they're not consistent. We need consistency there. And the final thing is, George Pickens can't do it all. The running game will be good this year. Pat Freiermuth will be good. But I think the Steelers need to surround him with a good receiver talent, whether that's in the draft in the first or second round, or our own on-the-turf sources who we can't really reveal where we're getting this information from. But apparently San Francisco, the phone lines are open for both Debo and Ayuk. And if the Steelers and Omar Khan wants to make one final move to really cap off an amazing offseason and crown us the 2025 offseason champions, then, I would say, Omar, go do that. But I think there's a couple things. But, yes, I think the Steelers are a playoff contender. And I think Justin Fields will be a really cool element to see. I wonder how long do you guys think the leash on Russell Wilson will be this season, given that Fields is kind of lying in the wait. And like Rohan, you said, he's probably right now positioned to be the starter next year?
Honestly, I think they give him a whole season. That's I think that's the expectation that like both quarterbacks are going in with. Justin Fields had multiple teams that he could have gone that he said no to, but the Bears, the Bears said like the Bears respected his wishes, and he knew going in when he went to the Steelers that he would be a number two quarterback. So I think the Steelers, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson have all established that Russell Wilson will be the starter. And honestly, I'm not even thinking about it as a leash. Like I think Wilson will perform great, but honestly, I think they'd give him a whole year regardless because he's on a 1 year deal anyway, so you might as well use him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that Russ gets the whole year, barring injury, of course. I mean, I think he's going to perform well. He's performed well for the past 2 years, like well enough. At least has shown some sort of competence in what's been a pretty incompetent Broncos organization. I think he'll be good enough. I think he'll get the whole year. And if you're in playoff contention, it's not a time to throw out a new quarterback and see what happens. So I think Russ gets the whole season, but I do think it makes it interesting for the Steelers because, like, if you're not seeing Fields in actual play, how do you decide if you want to re-sign him the next year? And
Exactly.
I think if the wheels do fall off, if this team is worse than we expect a few games in, then maybe Field gets the go-ahead. I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be competing right off the bat. I think that means Russell has to keep the job, and I think the smart move is to still re-sign Fields. Maybe just give him at least a year on a cheap deal to see if he'll bite at that. Um, honestly, another note: if you throw Fields out there and he does well, you just jacked up his market value. Now everyone knows how good he is, and you're going to get in a bidding war next year. I think it could be the smart move. Keep him under Russell's wing for a year. Don't let everyone see what he's got. If you think you got something good, give him a small deal. If you think that he's not good, then let him go. And I think that's the smartest move if you're the Steelers. So just play this close to your hand and don't let people know if Fields is actually good or not.
Yeah. And in other quarterback news, Shree, let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings losing Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year, was it 160 million, I believe, with the Atlanta Falcons at the age of 36, coming off an Achilles tear.
No, it's 180, Arjun. 4 years, 180.
180, yeah. So a lot of money, a lot more money than I would have. I was saying the Steelers should sign Kirk Cousins. I think I'm okay with it, given what we know about how much he wanted. But Kirk Cousins, his agent, deserves to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for getting the bag-itis. I mean, he's an absolute master of his craft at this point for Kirk Cousins. But, Sheree, we'll talk about the Vikings a little bit later when we get to the draft. But what do you guys think about the Atlanta Falcons? I think we're all in agreement. This makes them a really good team, especially in the division, and should finally, barring injury, unlock those playmakers, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and the rest of them, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think they're going to win the division. I mean, I don't think it's. I think obviously any team in the NFC South, actually not any team, but I think that the Falcons. It's either the Falcons or the Bucks, but I think this puts the Falcons ahead. Those playmakers have needed to be unleashed 2 years ago, but obviously Kyle Pitts was not able to get a quarterback, and I think Kirk Cousins has done fantastic with T.J. Hawkinson, and he'll use Kyle Pitts like so much more. Like I see 1,000-yard seasons from both Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson. Like we've all seen how great he was last year. So yeah, I think the offensive talent is going to be amazing. They have a decent O-line, and I think the defense is pretty good too. So I have them making it to the playoffs pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good move objectively. This makes them a very good team right now. But if you look at it like largely as a franchise, this isn't a move that makes you a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. I don't know if Kirk's a Super Bowl quarterback. He's had good teams before, maybe not as good as this. In terms of here, he has I think everything. You have O-line, you got a running back, you got a receiver, you got a tight end, you got a very good defense as well, which I think is important to note. So I think yes, Atlanta's a contender. Yes, they'll probably win their division. Is this a Super Bowl team? I don't know. I don't think Kirk has that in him. He hasn't shown that he has that in him. I mean, how many playoff wins does he have in his career?
2.
2?
Wait, maybe 1.
I think it might be 1.
Yeah, it was against the Saints. Yeah, that one game.
Yeah, is that enough? I don't know, because you gave him a massive contract that you're going to be saddled with for 4, if not more, years. I would hope you're winning the Super Bowl, and I don't think you are. So while I understand the move, it makes them better right now. I don't think it's the right move for them. I don't know what the alternative was, but this wasn't it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Atlanta really had an option. I guess, you could say they could trade up for one of these quarterbacks, but they're sitting there at 8 in this draft. They're not going to be in position to get Caleb, and besides Caleb in this draft, everyone else is kind of a question mark for various reasons, right? So if you're Atlanta, you have all these playmakers on rookie contracts right now. You have to throw them a bone at some point, or they're going to start leaving town. So I think in the situation they were in the same way I view the Steelers in the situation they were in, made the right move. Maybe this is a little bit of an overpay for Kirk Cousins, but I think Atlanta kind of had to, and I think Arthur Blank really wanted to make a move, given that he's kind of up there in age at this point, and it's been a while since obviously 28-3.
But I mean, also, 180 for a quarterback coming off an Achilles tear, like one of the most
Yeah.
debilitating injuries, is rough. It's pretty rough.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins' agent, man.
He deserves
Really,
it.
just a special talent, really.
True.
But let's talk about the running backs. We've talked a lot about these quarterbacks. Saquon Barkley going from the Giants to the Eagles. Sad to say for the Giants, they're going to be really bad this year. I think so. They just lost their one bright spot, truly. But for the Eagles, what do you guys think? Just we can go quickly on this one. I think it's a pretty smart move for the Eagles, even though they're losing Kelsey this offseason. I think their running game should be able to kind of come back to life with Saquon there.
Yeah, I was concerned when they. I was concerned.
No, go
I was
ahead.
concerned when they let DeAndre Swift go immediately in free agency, but this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
This brings another weapon to the offense, especially in the passing attack. I think this gives Hurts an option that he really hadn't had before in terms of that dynamic playmaker out of the backfield. And I think this sort of safety valve will be really good for the entire team moving forward. But it is a sick world, unfortunately. And I don't even feel bad for the Giants. I don't feel bad for Giants fans because they deserve this after how they treated Saquon. But yeah, cold world.
Yeah, I think we can all agree like Saquon was a generational talent like coming into the draft back a few years ago, and Giants didn't use him. He stayed back an extra year, and I thought he was severely underpaid for his talent. And yeah, he got injured this season, but I'm glad he's with a team that appreciates the run, and the Eagles will be there won't be. I think he's better than DeAndre Swift. And other than the defensive line from the Giants, I really don't have any hope for them either. So.
Yeah, they're cooked.
Yeah.
They're cooked.
Let's go to maybe the most surprising running back move of free agency. The Green Bay Packers getting rid of Aaron Jones and signing Josh Jacobs. And then I think they also re-signed A.J. Dillon as well. So two kind of power backs in Green Bay. I think we're all pretty high on Green Bay going into the season. Jordan Love had a great end to the season, winning that playoff game, nearly winning another one. Those wide receivers all growing as well, and that defense should be pretty good as well. What do we think about this Josh Jacobs to Green Bay? I think, Green Bay, I thought they were going to be good. This doesn't really change that for me. I think it's just an interesting move. But I think it kind of signals that they want their playmakers to grow up with Jordan Love instead of aging out with him. Aaron Jones was older than Jordan Love. So I think they want to kind of create some consistency around him for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that Josh Jacobs is okay. I don't think it's like a crazy move or anything. He's always been like a solid runner of the ball, like always maybe like top 5, top 6 in the league. I think that Aaron Jones was getting older. He did get injured through the season, but I don't necessarily think I see Josh Jacobs as like a safety valve for Jordan Love as compared to like what we had with like Jalen Hurts. I think Jordan Love is honestly a really good thrower of the ball. I just think it adds like another dimension to this offense. But we all knew they were going to be good this year, and this just helps their case.
I don't love it. I kind of liked Aaron Jones more in the offense. He's more of a. Granted, I think Josh Jacobs is a better runner, but Aaron Jones is more of a playmaker. He's faster, he's quicker, he's a better pass catcher. Granted, he is older, but outside of the games when he played, he was still pretty good. I don't know. I would have preferred them to keep Aaron Jones here. And I think Aaron Jones will be pretty good in Minnesota. Maybe a lot of empty stats, but good nonetheless. But I see the vision here. I think it makes their running attack, their pure ground attack, a lot better. But can I move on to the next one because I'm really excited about this? Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens. Hold on, I don't want to talk about fuck. You guys just keep quiet. But Derrick Henry to the Baltimore Ravens. This one excites me more than anything. I don't think Derrick Henry. Obviously, Derrick Henry's not in his prime anymore, but this is still an absolute bulldozer of a running back. You pair it with the fastest, most elusive quarterback in the league in Lamar Jackson. J.K. Dobbins, hopefully he's still around. Hopefully he can bounce back from his injury to give them a solid number two. This people are talking about this, but I feel like people aren't talking about it enough. 2-year contract, $16 million. You got him for cheap. Maybe you can still pursue a wide receiver in the draft, get better there as well. Defense is still good. Obviously, you lost Patrick Queen, but this is a complete Ravens team now. I mean, their running game was already quite good, but they didn't have like a true number one. True number one. Now you got that. I don't know. This not like the scariest backfield of all time?
Of all time, I think all time might be a little insane. I thought,
I mean, we were talking about quarterbacks and running backs.
I mean, I don't think there's any greater runner of the ball in terms of quarterbacks other than Lamar Jackson. Like maybe Michael Vick or comes close. So like I think I agree in that aspect. Like there is no other duo that's been like, because we've had Derrick Henry has gone for 2K yards like multiple seasons. So I agree. I just think that like the Derrick Henry that we would use to compare, like he's not the Derrick Henry he was like a couple years ago. And I think if anything, I as a Steelers fan, I'm not actually that worried because I trust the Steelers' defensive line and the linebackers. Like I think we all remember when the Steelers played the Titans in like 2020, Robert Spillane just like bulldozing Derrick Henry at like right when they're about to get a touchdown. So like as an AFC North fan, like Derrick Henry coming into a division that plays like a very defensive game of football with like just a lot of physicality. So I think this for him is going to be the most challenging that he's ever been challenged. And he's older too, so I don't know. Like I think it's an amazing move from the Ravens' perspective. I think the backfield is going to be amazing, but I'm not like I agree. I get the hype. I'm just not as hyped as maybe I should be.
Yeah, I fucking hate this.
Thank you. That's what I was looking for.
I remember like 2 hours before, I think the Joe Mixon trade to the Houston Texans happened. And I think I remember texting our chat. I was like, oh, God, I think Derrick Henry is going to go to Baltimore. And then precisely 2 hours later, I get the Adam Schefter notification. Derrick Henry is signing a 2-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. And I can't lie, that really ruined my day. Because, Rohan, you're exactly right. This is pretty scary. I really hate this because this gives the Ravens exactly what they needed, which is a healthy running back, which is really all that they needed. And not only is Derrick Henry, consistently pretty healthy always, but he's also Derrick Henry. He's the king. And with the Ravens offensive line, with their defense, they may not even need to pass the ball, if we're being honest here. They could run a 1940s offense, and they could be just fine. The read option's going to go absolutely insane. I hate it for all those reasons.
I wish that Todd Monken
my only hope
back.
is that the Ravens defense is going to regress without Mike McDonald. That's my only hope.
I wish Todd Monken was back here. I mean,
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
Charge your damn AirPods.
Yeah, I saw. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was saying I wish Todd Monken was back.
He is back.
What?
He is back.
Wait, no, sorry, not Todd Monken. Who was the guy before
Mike
him?
McDonald.
Mike
Mike
no.
McDonald.
What?
What?
No, sorry, not who was the OC before Monken?
Oh, Greg Roman.
Greg Roman. I wish Greg Roman was
Yeah.
back because at least he would run the ball. Because Todd Monken sometimes doesn't run the ball as much as he should. But
He didn't run the ball in the playoff game. He's pretty good otherwise, honestly.
fair. But I don't know. A few other running back moves: Pollard to the Titans, Eckler to the Commanders. None of these are needle shifters to me. They both seem to be running backs who are a little bit past their prime. Wide receivers, though. Wait, what?
Let's start with the wide receivers.
Let's start with the receivers. This is interesting. I mean, first one I see on this list: T. Higgins, franchise tag by the Bengals, requests a trade out. What do you do here? I don't think you can afford him long term. The tag was sort of a last ditch move, and he wants out. Who's going to take him? First of all, do you think if someone does trade for him? If not, I mean, is he going to play? Do you think he pulls a Le'Veon Bell of sorts if they can't find a trade partner?
I think the Bengals are going to re-sign him. I think this is purely just a move to kind of get the negotiations going. I think this situation's mutually beneficial for both parties. I think Higgins benefits a lot from having Chase there. The only thing is, we don't really can the Bengals afford to pay him? wide receiver one money? Probably not, because the Burrow contract's about to kick in, and Chase is about to get probably a record-setting contract next year after Jefferson gets his deal in a couple months. So, can you afford? I think they can. I think they'll be able to come to an understanding here, and I think the Bengals definitely need it with losing Mixon. They need both Chase and Higgins, I think.
Yeah, same here. I agree. But another wide receiver that I thought was super interesting, Keenan Allen to the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean, when I thought Omar Khan did well with Justin Fields, I think the Bears might have done even better with Keenan Allen. The value of Keenan Allen and just is it a conditional fourth round pick?
It's just a
fourth round.
Yeah, it's
a fourth round pick.
Yeah.
Still though, regardless, a fourth round pick for Keenan Allen, and we've seen what he's done. He's been amazing. I mean, probably the best slot receiver in the game. Him and Justin Herbert. I mean, Keenan Allen has diced up multiple teams with over 200 yards before. This man is a monster. And yes, he's older, but what more do you want when you bring in Caleb Williams with an experienced veteran with proven talent to ease that transition in for probably a generational talent in Caleb Williams? And wait, they got someone else, right? And they have DJ Moore. As a wide receiver too. Are you serious right now? This is probably what I don't even know. Maybe top 6, top 5 duo in terms of the weapons that he has to work with. They also have DeAndre Swift now from the Eagles, proven talent. There is a lot of talent for Caleb Williams to work with, and he has a better offensive line compared to what he had at USC or whatever. But honestly, I'm excited for the Bears. I'm glad they're restarting. I'm just happy for them.
Yeah. So I think I approach this from a different perspective. I don't think it's that much. I think fourth round pick is fair. Keenan Allen, he has a kind of play style that can probably age pretty gracefully compared. His game is in the fact that he's a great route runner, and that tends to succeed for older receivers better. And I think he can keep up this level of play for the next year or two. So fourth round pick, it's fair, especially since the Chargers weren't able to give him, or he wasn't able to agree to a contract restructure with them. My question is on the Chargers side. Who is Justin Herbert going to throw to at this point?
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Williams signs with the Jets. His top wide receiver right now is Josh Palmer or Quinn Johnston. You can take your pick. Both of them are wide receiver 4s. So you can take your pick from whichever one gets to be wide receiver 1. I trust Jim Harbaugh. He's earned that. But so I'm not panicking, and I'm sure they'll figure out a strategy here, and they're sitting at pick number 5. But man, he's about to turn Justin Herbert into J.J. McCarthy, and that's crazy to me. But
I mean,
good for the Bears. I agree with everything you said about the Bears, though.
Yeah, well, just a quick note. I mean, sure, you said the Bears this is a good way to start over with Caleb Williams. I don't think they're starting over. I mean, I think this is an interesting thing that they're doing where I think they think Caleb Williams is truly NFL ready and ready to lead this team to the playoffs. They have put all the places in. They have 2 veteran receivers, veteran running back. All the things you said. Player with a good veteran defense. This isn't a team that they're ready to start over. This is a team that's ready to win now. And they are banking on the fact that Caleb Williams is that quarterback, and he is going to be a near top 10 quarterback to lead this team to the playoffs. I think it's a bold strategy. I don't hate it. People say he's a generational talent. I think you got to test it out, and there's no better way to test it out than put him in a place to succeed.
Yeah. is. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I think he's done.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say I think this is the best situation a number 1 pick has probably entered ever.
Yeah.
Obviously the Bears didn't earn the number 1 pick. Their own pick is at 9, but I can't think of any rookie quarterback who has better weapons to start out, better defense. Only thing is the coach. I don't think Eberflus is that dude.
Yeah, they should have fired Eberflus. They really should have fired Eberflus.
Thing on these receivers, let's just go rapid fire on a couple of these. What do we think? Mike Evans coming back to Tampa Bay. Thumbs up for me. Great move overall. Yeah, he deserves to be back in Tampa Bay. Next one, Jerry Jeudy to the Browns. I think it's a good move for the Browns. I think if I'm not a fan of the contract they gave him, but good overall. I'm the same way, kind of iffy on it. Rohan.
He's that's all I have to say.
Amazing talent. Going into the draft. I just haven't seen enough.
He's just not consistent.
He wasn't healthy consistently. I just didn't see him pop out to me that much when he was in Denver. And obviously, Denver team was like not the best. He's going into a better situation, obviously, but it's actually I don't know. It's
Is it a
Deshaun
better
Watson.
situation?
Like who
I don't
knows?
know.
But
We'll talk
yeah. But I don't know. I don't think it's that big. But what I do think is bigger is Calvin Ridley going with DeAndre Hopkins to Tennessee, which I think was a well-deserved contract for a well-talented receiver. But again, like I think Calvin Ridley is an amazing receiver. Like I don't know about you guys, but
I think this season showed that he is in fact a number 2 receiver. He is not a number 1. I think he did he get number 1 money like low key.
He did.
He did. And I don't know if he deserved all that, quite frankly. But at least Levis has someone to throw to. Okay, underrated signing. Who let the Chiefs get Marquise Brown? I mean, a year contract and $7 million. I mean,
$7 million is a steal.
$7 million for Marquise Brown. Granted, like trust me, I had Marquise Brown for 3 years. He's nothing crazy, right? But he's a high end wide receiver too, in my opinion. He's a speedster. He can get separation on the deep ball. Who throws a pretty deep ball? Patrick Mahomes.
Not Patrick Mahomes. Terrible deep ball.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially what they've done here is they replaced Marquez Valdez-Scantling with Marquise Brown. And you still got Rashee Rice on the come up. You still got Travis Kelce, who's not slowing down. Insane move. Absolutely insane move. And while we're on the topic of the Chiefs, I'm gonna transition over to the defensive end here. Because they also re-signed Chris Jones. Granted, massive contract, 5 years, $158 million. But for a team that is looking to win a three-peat, for a team that can probably compete for the entirety of this 5 years of Chris Jones on contract, if he stays out the whole thing, I think it makes complete sense.
Yeah, this is a great signing. You hate to see it for the rest of the 31 teams in the NFL. I really thought Chris Jones was leaving, but I guess we can't have nice things. The NFL just sucks. The Chiefs get back. I think their defense is still going to be really good. Spagnuolo knows what he's doing. They lost L'Jarius Sneed, of course, who went to the Titans about a week ago, traded there. But Chris Jones is really the anchor for this defense. He showed that in the playoffs last year. This is big for the Chiefs, and I think this is a really key signing for them for their defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another signing that I thought was pretty great. Danielle Hunter to the Texans.
Yeah.
He's going back home. Him and Will Anderson together, like that's gonna be scary. Like I don't think like any of the I guess the offensive lines are okay, but regardless, like Will Anderson has proven to be a pretty amazing talent in his rookie year. Danielle Hunter was like I think at one point leading the sacks in the NFL like last year, and he's been a consistent, very dominant edge. When he was with Zadarius Smith, in Minnesota, like that was a very scary duo. Now they're in the Texans, who've already made the wild card. I'm actually pretty happy with my Texans to the Super Bowl pick. Like obviously, a Super Bowl is like everything, but there's always a random team that gets there. But I'm happy. I think it's okay with the Texans. But I just want to throw that out there.
I think that's a good pickup. An even better pickup, Bryce Huff to the Philadelphia Eagles. And let me explain.
Bryce Huff.
No.
Bryce Huff.
Let's not diss Bryce
Huff.
Huff.
Right? Bryce Huff is a Quinnen Williams merchant. That's why the Jets
No. Bryce Huff, he didn't play. He was sort of a rotational piece for the Jets, but he had one of the best pressure rates in the entire league, from when he was playing. And essentially, what the Eagles and Jets did was after today they've swapped Huff and Hassan Reddick. Granted, Hassan Reddick has a better track record. He's older. He's going to ask for more money. Bryce Huff is probably, in his prime or reaching his prime right now. You pair him with Nolan Smith, who you're hoping is going to take a step forward now that he doesn't have Hassan Reddick in front of him. I think the Eagles have to set themselves up very well on their defensive line for a young, athletic defensive line. And I think Bryce Huff is gonna prove I don't know how to prove people wrong, but I think he's gonna prove you guys wrong. I think he's gonna make a lot of noise for the Eagles this season.
I guess the last one I'll talk about, just Rohan, you brought up Hassan Reddick. The Jets defensive line is going to be absolutely crazy now. I mean, the rotation, you got Carl Lawson still there? Obviously Quinnen's the big dog there, but you also got I'm forgetting who they drafted 15 last year. I don't know why I'm forgetting his name, but they got him. They got a huge rotation there. Hassan Reddick's going to be a cornerstone there. Robert Saleh knows how to drop a pass rush. And that Jets defense is looking to be scary. Now, if Rodgers can stay healthy, that's another question.
If Rodgers can play football and not become vice president of the United States.
No, RFK picked a different presidential candidate, so we're good. He's going to be on the field.
Thank God.
But on that topic, let's move to division winner predictions. This is a fun segment. Obviously, we're going to talk about the draft more in depth the next couple episodes after this, so we'll talk about all the quarterback craziness there. But after what happened in free agency and maybe what we project is going to happen in the draft, let's start out in the AFC East. So let's just keep it quick. Who do you guys think is winning the AFC East? I'll stick with the team that's won it for the past 3 years. The Buffalo Bills. I think they'll win again. Josh Allen, Sean McDermott. Whether or not they'll get to the Super Bowl is another question. I don't think they will. Spoiler alert. But they know how to win this division. The Jets, I think, are a threat. I think Miami's regressing. New England's going to be a complete rebuild situation this year. I think Buffalo takes it again. And I think Josh Allen continues to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, Miami is regressing and New England is in a rebuild, but Arjun did not say anything about the Jets, and that's why I'm picking the Jets.
Because of the Jets.
Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, Aaron Rodgers, Breece Hall, Hassan Reddick, Quincy Williams, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, DJ Reese. This roster is just
naming
the roster is just insane. Like I didn't obviously name everyone on the team, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers is coming back from an injury. He healed. He's healing. Okay, like over a year of healing. Okay, we're not doing any kind of suspect 10-week treatments going on. He's back. He has weapons. Mike Williams and what's his face? Garrett Wilson. I mean, and they made amazing additions with Hassan Reddick. I'm excited for this team. I think that this team had a lot of talent going into it last year. They're even more talented this year. I'm excited for them. Go Jets.
You know how I'm going to pick. Give me the Dolphins. Give me Miami.
You got to quit him, man. You got to quit him. This is
unhealthy.
We got to have an intervention here.
No. Trust. This defense, they're going to be healthier, hopefully. They got Jordan. They sold Jordan Poyer from the Bills. They got Jordan Brooks.
How old is he?
What?
42? 42? What? How old is he?
He's not 42. He's 30-something. It's not even that old, bro. He's not even that old.
He's getting up there.
No, he's not. He's fine.
How ageist of you, Arjun?
What do you say?
Sorry, man. It's football.
It's ageist. They got Jordan Brooks, another good signing, a linebacker after losing Jerome Baker. They got Shaq Barrett, nice little edge rusher, especially as Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips get back into the groove of things. I think this is a good team. Their offense has pretty much remained the same. They nearly won the division last year, and I think the Buffalo Bills are going to regress a little bit.
All right, AFC West, we can keep this quick. Kansas City's
KC,
Kansas
no arguments needed.
Okay, all right, we can move on. All right, AFC North. This one's interesting. I thought about 3 of the teams I think we all have listed. I'm going to go with Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow is going to be back. It really hinges on his health. This defense has shown they can be consistently pretty good as long as Lou Anarumo, their defensive coordinator, is there. If Burrow's there, if Chase is there, I think as long as Burrow and Chase are there, this team's going to win a lot of games. I think Baltimore is going to regress a little bit. I think their defense may regress without Mike McDonald. Baltimore's still going to be a playoff team. I have no problem there with them making the playoffs. And Pittsburgh is also going to be a playoff team. Honestly, this division is going to be a dogfight. I would take any 3 of these teams. I'd even consider Cleveland. But I'm just going to go with who I believe is the best quarterback in this division.
Yeah, I'm taking the Steelers. I obviously we've seen them make the playoffs with a D+ quarterback. Now you give Mike Tomlin, and you have the addition of Arthur Smith, and you have him throwing, and you have Russell Wilson, potentially Justin Fields. I think with such a shitty quarterback talent, we've made the playoffs, and the fact that we're going in with so much more momentum, and Patrick Queen, the additions are coming in. TJ Watt, Cameron, I don't need to name the people again, but just a lot of talent all around with a way better quarterback, and I don't think we've lost a lot other than Deontay Johnson. But we got Dante Jackson in return. So again, I'm happy with the talent. I don't want to go on too long, but it's just an upgrade in the quarterback for me.
The thing is, I agree with you that the Steelers got better, but I think the Steelers and the Browns are just franchises that just refuse to get over the hump. Like,
Don't compare us to the Browns, man. We have 6
That's
rings, they have
actually
0.
right.
Don't compare us to the Browns.
Okay.
We don't give $230
Yeah.
million to Deshaun Watson guaranteed money.
Come on now.
in recent years, rather, the Steelers haven't been able to get over the hump. I don't think they get over the hump again just because they'll lose stupid games. The Browns, I mean, think I see them being a threat, but I think at the end of the day, I take severe issue with Arjun's Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in this division. Lamar's not a playoff quarterback. Until he proves that to me, I'm not gonna make that argument. But he surely is a more consistent regular season quarterback. That's why he has 2 MVPs. That's why I led his team to the first seed last year. I think that's why he's going to do it again. Yes, the defense might take a step back, but really their only loss is Patrick Queen. Hopefully, with a new DC, they'll be fine. As offense take a step forward, getting Derrick Henry. This team is fine. They're going to win the division again. And shut up with this Joe Burrow glazing.
All right, wouldn't be a year without Joe Burrow glazing. Let's move to the NFC.
AFC
Let's
South,
talk.
AFC South.
Sorry, the AFC South. I always forget about the AFC South. They're just a very forgettable division.
Yeah.
But they've got some interesting quarterbacks here. I think all 4 of the quarterbacks here are pretty interesting. I'm going to go with Indianapolis, though. I think Shane Steichen showed a lot last year to be able to succeed with Gardner Minshew, almost take that team to the playoffs. Was really impressive to me. Anthony Richardson, he's going to be fully healthy. I think he's going to be an absolute game changer for that team. They got better on offense. They got better on defense. This team is on the upswing, and I love their coach. Don't get me wrong, I love CJ Stroud as well, but I just think that this team is I think you always have some step back. That Houston's going to have a much harder schedule this year, but I'm going to trust Shane Steichen to take this team over the top.
I'm taking the Texans. I think they got better both offensively and defensively. Daniil Hunter, Tank Dell's coming back. You got Joe Mixon. I just think they're proven, amazing head coaching as well, and I just think they got better. And the other teams haven't gotten as better, so I'm going with the Texans.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to say with the Texans for all the reasons you said. I just think that they're a deeper team at this point. I think Richardson's going to need a full year to really get the wheels under him. But I think they'll compete, but I think the Texans are still at the top of this division.
Let's go to the NFC East. This division is not a repeat champion since 2003, I believe. But I believe this year bucks that trend. I don't trust Philly. Sorry, nothing you say will convince me that Nick Sirianni is not a clown coach. I believe he is. And until he shows me he's not, I will not believe it. So I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys. This team has won 12 games in the past 3 seasons. I expect them to win 12 games again. Not any major losses apart from Tony Pollard. Is that even a loss? I'm not sure. CD Lamb is going to cook. Dak is Dak, but he's good in the regular season. He wins games. Again, playoff. Well, there's not a playoff team, but they're going to win the division. Dallas wins. I'll say 12-5 again.
Me and Rohan both picked the Philadelphia Eagles, but Rohan, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, Dallas didn't make any needle-moving moves this free agency. Granted, it's a good team, like you said, but I think unless you're making moves, you're not putting yourself in a position to succeed and get better. Philadelphia did just that. Their coaching does really scare me. I think their coaching is pretty awful, and they didn't make any good moves. I'm hoping that another year under Brian Johnson's belt can help save this offense in some way.
He's not the offense. Kellen Moore is the OC now.
Oh, Kellen Moore's the OC. Sorry, I should say another year under. Is Sean Desai still the DC?
No, Vic Fangio is.
Vic Fangio. Wait, hold on. This coaching staff is fine. This
Still Nick Sirianni, man. Still Nick Sirianni.
This coaching staff is more than fine, actually. I forgot that they made those coordinator moves. I think that entrenches me even more. Philadelphia wins the division. The Saquon move is incredibly good and puts them over the top, I think.
Anything else, Tree?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just gonna.
All right, let's move to the NFC West. This one's gonna be interesting. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks, though. As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I know how good Mike Macdonald is as a coach. I think he's going to succeed immediately. The defense, they have a lot of amazing pieces there in Seattle. They need someone to put it together. I think Macdonald's going to do that. Geno's good enough. I think the main thing for me is that the Rams' defense is going to suffer, losing Raheem Morris, their coordinator, and losing arguably the greatest defensive player of our generation, Aaron Donald. San Francisco, Super Bowl hangover. You guys know how I feel about that. So I'm gonna go with Seattle. I think Geno's just good enough. The weapons are there. The offensive line is there. The defense is there. I trust Mike McDonald. Seattle wins the division.
I got the Rams. I still think they got potential like going into the draft. Like obviously, I agree. Like all the other teams, are very talented in the NFC West. But I just have trust in this offense. Like if they're able to, if I trust this offense in a shootout, and even if their defense might hold them back, obviously with Aaron Donald, I still think they made some additions with like I don't know, Darius Williams, Trey White, obviously.
A lot of confidence coming there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think the Rams trimmed the fat a little bit. That was sort of what last year was all about, getting rid of some of those big contracts like Jalen Ramsey. They cleared up some more money. I like the secondary moves that they made this year. They're arguably the team that drafts the best in the entire NFL, and I think
That's
that
true.
another year, another draft helps them a lot. But despite all that, I'm sticking with San Francisco. I mean, at the end of the day, whether Ayuk or Debo gets traded, an engine of McCaffrey, Purdy, Trent Williams, George Kittle, that is built for regular season success. They're a team that runs the ball, they have a smart, savvy quarterback, they have a good offensive line. I don't know what the playoffs are going to hold for them, but this is a good regular season team. The wheels aren't going to fall off here. And their defense, I think, really hasn't. I mean, outside of the Drake Greenlaw loss, I don't think there's much happening there. I think this is still easily the best team in the entire NFC, and they win the division.
All right, let's move to the NFC North. Probably two teams we're all thinking about here, Detroit and Green Bay. I'm going to go with Detroit. I love Green Bay. I think they're primed for a Super Bowl run this year. I think Detroit's even more, though. Getting back Ben Johnson is huge for this team. They only got better this offseason. They're going to get better via the draft. Jared Goff, this whole team is going in there with something to prove. So I think they're going to win 13, 14 games, cruise the 1 seed possibly, and win the NFC North.
I'm going to take the Green Bay. Like I agree, like Detroit is prime for like a run or whatever. I just like Green Bay, like the additions they made, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is just going to build on it. I mean, I honestly like Jordan Love more than Jared Goff, despite the coaching staff and the talent all around him. I at the end of the day, it's a quarterback's game, and I think the play call in Green Bay is still fine. So I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to go with Detroit. I do like the Packers. I think they're going to be a lot better this year, but like Arjun said, they're coming back with a vengeance. Ben Johnson's going to be incredible for them. I think they win the division.
All right, last one, NFC South. I'm going with Atlanta. I said that earlier. Pretty easy. Kirk Cousins puts them over the top. I think Tampa Bay is going to give them a fight. And keep your eye on the Panthers, man. The Panthers are making some interesting moves, and Dave Canales could unlock Bryce Young.
Yeah, I said Atlanta. I think when we talked about Kirk Cousins earlier, I think he has amazing weapons to work with. That's my argument.
Yeah, same thing. Atlanta. I think they're the most complete team right now. They just needed a quarterback.
Yeah. Okay, finally, let's just do quick Super Bowl picks after free agency. We'll keep track of them. Are you guys sticking with your picks that you made right after the Super Bowl, or has free agency changed anything?
I honestly forgot what I picked. Do you remember, Arjun? I think I did the Chiefs.
I think you did Chiefs. I want to say Chiefs.
Did I say Rams?
Detroit?
No, me and Arjun said Rams.
Yeah,
I said Houston.
Yes. Yeah, I said Rams, Rams Cincinnati. I'm changing both of mine, actually.
Wait a minute, what was your original, Arjun?
Mine was Rams Cincinnati.
Okay, so you're just changing.
I'm going to change mine. I'm going to go with Detroit and Cincinnati.
That would feed families. People would love that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Man,
Wait, what was it? What was the AFC that you said?
I'm going to go with the Bengals and the Lions. Cincinnati and Detroit.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the Chiefs, bro. I really don't see if you're a betting man, I don't see how you pick another team other than the Chiefs right now. I'm gonna do Chiefs and you know what, give me a rubber match. Give me Chiefs Eagles. I think the Eagles
Ugh.
the Eagles I think have all the talent that they need. I think they piece it together again with these new coordinators. Give me the Eagles, but Chiefs won Super Bowl.
I'm gonna go Houston, Green Bay. Honestly,
Where does bro come up with these?
No, that's
good.
That's
base. It makes sense.
I actually
base
think
tree. Base tree.
I get it. It's Detroit, but I trust. I like how Green Bay is looking. Okay, like we've seen what a Green Bay team can do. They were only gonna get better, and I think my Houston pick is like pretty reasonable. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I like your pick, Sheree. I mean, Rohan, I hate your pick because I hate both those teams. But
That's fair,
anyway,
but I mean, I think they're good. I think they're good.
yeah. But that's about it for this episode. It's been a little bit of a longer one. It's been fun to talk about free agency and everything. We have to go there. A lot of fun stuff. We barely even talked about the draft. So a lot of stuff to talk about in the next couple weeks. Hopefully, we'll bring on some guests before the draft at the end of April. Make sure to check out our Instagram. We'll be having some mock drafts coming out, I think, pretty soon, along with some other content as well. Keep an eye out. We might have some special stuff coming there. Anything else? I don't think so. Season 4 started off with a bang, and it's going to be fun. My name is Arjun Ryan.
I'm Sri Bamkanda.
And I'm Rohan Patel.
And we'll see you next week on the turf.